Both you and your spouse decided to work things out. Maybe it was you or your spouse decided to move back into your house. Now it's time to rekindle and rebuild your marriage. But how do you do it without messing things up? Glad that you asked. This is what this video is all about. I'm going to give you 8 tips that you can use to start and rebuild your marriage. Right into the tips. Tip number 1, take it slow. Just because you both now are back under the same roof does not mean that everything is okay and everything will just go back to normal. You must acknowledge whatever transpired that made you two separate in the first place. Which brings me to point 2. Control your emotions. Reel them in. Reel them in. As I said in my last video, the wound is still open. So feelings are still going to be a little raw. Even if you were separated for the whole year and decided to get back together, the feelings are still there. The hurt, the pain is still there. And I know you're going to want to jump into talking about the situation. Hold off for now. Unless you can have a conversation without blowing up, getting angry, or blaming, wait. Tip 3, date each other. This is a part of taking it slow. There was a reason that you two fell in love. Go back and rediscover what it was that made you two fall in love with each other. And what was it that made you two take the plunge and say, I do? I know for me, my husband told me that he fell in love with the fact that I was so independent. And at the time, I was taking care of a child by myself, still working a full-time job, serving my country. And in his eyes, I didn't seem to be going crazy. I was. And when we got married, that independent, gritty girl that he married, I lost that. So while we were separated, I had to go find her. I had to rediscover me so that I could rediscover us. So that's why you have to date your spouse as if you two were girlfriend and boyfriend or never married, and rediscover your relationship. 4, have no expectations. When you have expectations or you set expectations, it can be stressful on not only yourself, but also your partner. So let things just unfold. So like, say in the midst of this that you decide to give your spouse a gift. Don't expect a gift in return. Because then if your spouse don't give you a gift, you're gonna be disappointed. And then that's just a spiral into more bad feelings and more negative feelings. And the next thing you know, you're right back where you guys were in the beginning. We want to leave any negative feelings on the other side of the door. Don't bring it back into the house. 5, your spouse is not obligated to make you happy. You are in charge of your own happiness. Your spouse's only job is to add to your life, add to your happiness. So if you think that it's your spouse's job to make you happy, I'm gonna let you know right now, the reconciliation is not gonna last. That is way too much pressure that you are putting on your spouse to tell them that it's their job to make you happy. Only you can make yourself as happy as you can be, no one else. So guess what? If you're not happy, your spouse will never be able to make you happy, period. Tip 6, when you both feel comfortable, talk about why you guys were separated. Talk about what caused the separation and talk about what you both can do to move forward at this point. Don't dwell on things that already happened. Take accountability for what you both done or even said and leave it there. Don't bring it up later to throw in your spouse's face. Tip 7, be open and honest. I hate to put it this way, but after you've gone through a separation, it's almost like the gloves are off. Now, I'm not saying have a dirty fight. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it's like if you are hiding something, at this point, why hide it anymore? Put everything out on the table. And from there, Decide, even if that thing was infidelity while you guys were separated, put it out there, talk about it. And from there, make the decision if it's something that you can move forward with or if it's something that you can't. But you need to be open and honest. This is not a tip, but something I want to add. Don't try and change your spouse either. Let them know what it is that you need and listen to what they need. Now, for me, I'm not naturally an affectionate person. It is just the way that I grew up. But my husband is an affectionate person. So something that he needed was for me to be more affectionate. But he didn't give me an ultimatum. He didn't say, I need you to do this. It was something that I chose to change. So now I know that this is something that my husband needs in order for him to feel loved. Because of that, I now kiss him every time that he walks into the house. I kiss him every time that before he leaves the house. I tell him that I love him every chance that I get. Than me just being like, he knows I love him. I tell him that. I will hug him more. When we're out, we hold hands. And at first, it was very awkward for me. It was not natural. But the more that I did it, the more natural it started to become. And now I don't even think about it. It just happens. Tip 8, be appreciative, be thankful, and be grateful. And make sure that you're also doing that for the little things. So when my husband takes out the trash, I tell him either thank you or I tell him I appreciate you, because it's not his job to take out the trash. He's doing that because he loves me and he doesn't want me to go outside in the cold. But he doesn't have to take out the trash. I have arms and legs that work. So if I really want the trash out, I can take the trash out myself, but he does it because he cares. So I tell him thank you. If he washes the dishes, I tell him thank you. And I appreciate that he washed the dishes. Sometimes being a spouse and a parent is a thankless job. And sometimes we even get caught up into the whole that is what you should be doing anyway, so why should I thank you? It's the wrong way of thinking. It really is. We all want to be appreciated. We all want to be thanked. And we want people to show that they appreciate what we do. So if you want to be appreciated, appreciate. I want to give you guys a little bonus. Bonus 9, listen. Really listen. When you speak, you want people to listen to you, right? So why is it when your spouse speaks, you don't listen to what they're saying, or you try to talk over what they're saying, especially if they're saying something that you don't want to hear? Sometimes we need to hear those things. Sometimes we do need to know our shortcomings because it makes us better. It makes us a better person. It makes us a better spouse. When we're at work, we want our boss to tell us when we're doing something wrong. That's how we become a better employee. It's the same thing at home. Now, I'm not saying take it if your spouse is sitting there and they're being just a big bully and just talking down to you. But if you're trying to reconcile your marriage, there are some things that need to be spoken about that you are probably not going to want to hear. So listen, and really listen. So if you and your spouse are not at this point yet, you're not at the point of reconciling, and maybe you guys are still separated, but you want to start the process of at least changing your mindset, click the link below to get my free guide, How to Not Get Divorced. In that guide, I give you 8 tips that I personally used to rekindle, respark, and reconcile my marriage. So, do you guys think that these tips are doable? Are there some tips that you can add that I maybe forgot? Please leave a comment below. If you guys received value from this video, then please don't hesitate to hit that like button because I value your time. And remember, love yourself, adore yourself, be yourself. Thank you guys, and I hope I get to see you in my next video.